All right, all right. Let me just pull up my phone here to make sure we're actually live. Are we live? And yes, we are live. Alrighty, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. I am sitting here at KPOUH, which is the Hudson Valley Airport, doing a ILS demonstration. I've already got the plane already configured. Gonna fly over to KMGJ. If you look at your main screen for your Microsoft Flight Sim, you'll see, I think it's the Eastern Tour, which is KSWF. That is your tour flight or whatever like that they have on there. So I'm just doing a little ILS approach from there. So I'm going to be going over to KMGJ, Orange County Airport, and then flying into runway 9 at Stewart International Airport. I'm going to be flying at a height of 1,200 feet. I have everything set up and all ready to go. Mixture is in. Flaps are no flaps needed on a 172. Got plenty of runway, and my trim is set. All right, so let's get this baby going. And once I get in the air, I will show you how to do it. So we're going to be taking off from runway 24. Very important thing is you always want to make sure that you have your heading dialed in to the runway you're taking off of to make sure that you're not doing any runway intrusions. I have the comms off to make it easier. And let's get centered on the runway. And there we go, centered on the runway. Okay, applying power. It's going to be like a dirty flight. Like I said, this is just a demonstration for the ILS. I got my joystick calibrated, I hope. And we're at 60, airspeed's alive, and rotate. Let's get that trim up a little bit. Okay. Trim is up. We want at least a 5-degree angle of ascent. Come over to the autopilot. And we will put the autopilot on, and we're going to be climbing at a rate of 600 feet per minute. And let's set our nav. Make sure that my GPS, we're on our way to Orange County Airport, which is 17 miles. Estimated 12 minutes. Hoping I got the weather. It was crappier, but for some reason it seems to have gotten a little bit lighter. So, if need be, I'll set it again. I just want to show you how to fly the ILS using your instruments right here. So doing a VOR, if you had a VOR frequency in, the way you figure out your VOR is you would turn the dial. You would turn the dial to your heading, and once this makes a sniper rifle, that means you're on that true heading of for the VOR. But that's another lesson down the road. But we're on the way. These are your most common aircraft that you're going to be training in, either in the Cessna 150s or the 172s. Beautiful airplane. Alright, we're on course. ETA 8 minutes. Then once we do a flyover Orange County Airport, then we're going to turn around. We're going to swing around, come in from the west, fly east to runway 19er, which I already have the VOR already selected in, 110.0. Now that we're up in the air, I can dial in my runway for runway 9. Alright, now we just gotta wait till we get to Orange County Airport and make our swing around. Yeah, look at this beautiful crappy weather. Look at that. We can turn off our landing lights. We really don't need our landing light. Well, you know what? For the weather, we'll leave it on. Because there are other players out there flying, so. One program that I recommend that you get for your Microsoft Flight Sim is Plan G, which is great because it's got an actual moving map, and if you have multiple monitors, you can have your map on one screen and your flight sim on the other, and it will show you exactly where you are. So I just crossed Route 9W, and we're coming up on crossing over Route I-87. Look at that. Look at that weather. That's some crappy weather. Holding at 1,200 feet. ETA 6 minutes. 6 minutes out. Looks like a forest fire. Oh, what is that? That's weird. That's some more sort of weird reflection there. So I'm high enough over the mountains, no problem. Alright, and then we just gotta wait. Little chop chop. Weather seems to be getting a little bit. Let's see, altitude top. There you go. That's what I want. I don't want to be able to see much. Actually, you know what? I should do the bottom, altitude bottom. There we go. Let's see. Make that weather really crappy. Turn up the coverage a little bit. There you go. This is definitely VFR flying. Easily fly into a mountain if you don't have everything set. Actually, I might go up 1,400 feet. 600 feet. Let's climb a little bit. Just make sure we clear those mountains. There we go. Can't see a darn thing. We are 8 miles out at 4 minutes to Orange County Airport. And then we're going to do our swing around and land ILS Stewart International Airport, located on the Hudson River in upstate New York. Then I'll set direct for KWSF, KSWF. You can get very disoriented very quickly in flying in weather like this. Moving right along. Bum, 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 dun, dun, dun. Look at this weather. Let's see how good I am with my instrument flying. I've been out a little bit out of practice, but you know what? Practice, practice, practice. Alright, 5 miles out at 3 minutes. Once we cross over Orange County Airport, we'll dial in KSWF, landing at runway 9er. 2 minutes to Orange County Airport. I left the little airport bubbles up so you could see. Alright, crossing over 208. Like I said, I have multiple monitors, so I have the Plan G on my other monitor, which enables me to see where my plane is in relative to the world. So that's why I could say, okay, I'm over this town, I'm over this road, I'm over this highway. Now you can see here, since I have 110.10 runway 9 dialed in, it's actually picking it up and it's showing me way high, but I'll explain that this to you when we actually make our turn and start going in for our landing. Alright, everything's looking good. Does this disappear automatically? Yep, it automatically disappears. So we're below 3,000 feet, so we're going to keep our mixture in rich. When you start getting over 3,000, that's when you want to start leaning your mixture. Uses less fuel and makes your engine run much better since the air is less dense. Alright, there's Orange County Airport. We are crossing, we are running parallel, runway 26, runway 8. Alright. Direct. Actually, we can do nearest, but I'll show you how to dial this in. So KSW. And I actually went past it. Hold on. IJK. S. Actually, better go the other way. W. And F. There we go. Enter. Ah, you son of a blank. I did that by mistake. KSW. Enter. Let's make sure I have the cursor. We're going to activate. We are on nav mode, and we'll start making our turn. Alright, we're going to get ready because we're only 8 miles away from distance, so we're going to procedure. We want to select approach, enter, 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 and we want to load it, enter, and there we go. And what I always like to do also is procedure, enter, 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 and I want to, let's see, and then enter. Okay. Flight plan, there we go. So we are dialed in now for runway 9er. As you can see here on the map, we're going to be swinging around. We're following H. We're going to come around to HOUO, switch to Manny, and then SW, and then right into the main airport there. So we just gotta wait. Gotta wait, gotta wait. Still on GPS mode. I haven't switched over to the nav mode yet. Once I get lined up with the runway, once I make that turn and I get lined up with the runway, then I will switch over to nav mode. Flying over Randall Airport in Middletown. It's kind of like a wide loop. Now I could have also dialed in, I could actually have also picked it from, let's see, flight plan. I could have actually picked it from another route, but I figure what the hell. And we're going to make that wide loop and get ourselves lined up for runway 9. Here's that loop. A little bit out of the way, but the main thing is we get there safely. That's what matters. So we swing around. We're going to swing around Randall Airport, come over Middletown, and then get ourselves ready for landing. Actually, I think I'm going to put the Plan G up here on the right, where people can actually see the map. But I don't know. I haven't done it. I figured it out, of course, but I don't know if I'm going to leave it or not, because I kind of just like seeing everything. So right now we are over Goshen, New York. Crossing over Route 17. Route 17 is right here. Nice little town. Quaint little town. Quaint little town. It's so funny. You can actually be flying over your town, and if you really weren't familiar with the area, you would say, "Oh, okay, what is that?" HUO, and then we'll be making our turn very shortly, about a minute or so. Crossing over Big Island. Now, of course, with this, you would not be allowed to land at Stewart without being VFR, since this, IFR, since this is IFR conditions. And we should be making our turn very, very shortly. 5 miles until we make our turn. Put the sun down. I want it like this. Keep it like this, where it's hard to see, because that's the whole point of ILS, being able to fly by instruments. 1400 feet. RPMs are good. Mixture is rich. Alright. Making a swing around Big Island. Just as we cross around Big Island, we're going to make our turn. Then once we get lined up with the runway, I'll set the approach and set the, I'll switch over to nav mode. Crappy weather. Still VFR conditions, unless you were up on top. But you would definitely be IFR. You see that mountain right ahead? Easily, if you're flying too low, easily fly into something like that, which would not be good. I'm going to change the time. I want it dark. There we go. See which makes it crappier. And weather, altitude top, altitude bottom. We want coverage. And okay. Well, now we're flying at night. I want you to at least see. There we go. We'll keep it like that. All right, we'll be making our turn. I actually should have picked the other one. I didn't have to make this wide of a turn, but it's all good. We'll get there one way or the other. Look at those clouds. Letting the autopilot do the flying. I could hand fly it, but alright, we're starting to make our turn a little bit. Gradual turn. Slowly make our gradual turn. And like I said, there could be a huge mountain right in front. If you didn't look at the map or look at the aviation charts, you could easily fly into a mountain, no problem. I'm seeing some mountains, some ridge line right here, but we're high enough that we'll cross over it. Easily fly into a mountain. I mean, you see. That's why I love the Garmin 1000 with the FLIR. Alright, should be making our turn. We're still turning. Turning. Yeah, HUO VOR is actually one of the VORs that usually set up when you're flying out of Orange County Airport runway. Now it's 422. It used to be 321, but because of declination, every 5 years or so they actually replot the runways, because it has, basically the runway numbers have to do with your relation to magnetic north. So runway 3 would be 30 degrees of north, of true north, or magnetic north. Runway 24, for example, would be 240 degrees of magnetic north. So single numbers, like runway 9, that's 90 degrees. Double number, two-digit numbers, like a 12, would be 120 degrees. So right now, as you can see, I have runway 9, 090 degrees set into my compass. As we slowly make our turn, going to be crossing over Route 84 again. Like I said, this would have been a shorter flight if I had picked another VOR, but I decided to go with the full VOR to VOR, which there's only 2, to get into Stewart from the location I was coming in. Alright, making our turn still. And you can't even tell that we're turning. But the way I'm looking at the compass, you can see on the compass, you can see the compass moving a little bit. Now, when this, as you can see, runway 090, when it's parallel this way, we'll be actually turning right to line up with the 090. But we're still on the VORs, not on the actual runway. Gradually making our turn, skimming over the mountaintops. You know what? I'm going to go up 200 more feet. Just to give us a little breathing room. My vertical speed is at 600. And we're climbing up to 1,600 feet. There we go. Yeah, ILS approaches can be challenging, but they are a lot of fun. Not fun when you're flying the plane for real, because if you screw up, you don't get to hit that reset button. Alright, we should be picking up the next VOR. Here's Route 84 that we just flew over. Look at that. See what I mean? See how close those mountains could be? Usually you should be up like 2,500 feet, but I'm skimming along. But that's how easy it is to fly into a mountain. You got some good good sized mountains over here, but not too many. Alright, we should be making our turn to our next VOR and getting lined up for runway 09er. Alright, picking up on the next VOR. In 3, 2, 1. We should be making our turn very shortly. Yeah, next time I'll pick the other VOR rather than HUO. Runway 9 is dialed in. And we are 9 minutes out. We're on Manny now. Making our turn. There we go. 5 minutes. Or 4 miles, 9 minutes. Still lining up for runway 9. Alright, so Manny. And then within 2 miles, we'll switch over to our VLOC, which is our navigation for runway 9er. Getting prepared to land. And you can see that we're on course. Here we go, we're on course. Coming up on Randall Airport in Middletown, New York. That's where they do all the gliders and stuff. Two miles to go till we hit Manny, and then we'll be switching over to our ILS. Flight plan, there we go. Okay, so, approach runway 9. Nearly 10 miles. And I think we'll switch from Neely, what is it, Manny to Neely. We'll switch over in about 1 mile. And then that should have us perfectly lined up. 10 miles out. Yeah, I took the long loop. I took that long loop around. Well, I could have probably come across and then cut short and then swung in, but... Eight miles to go. Nearly, alright. switch over to nav and approach mode. Can't see a thing. Six miles, 6 miles. Kind of sucks that you can barely see the scenery, but like I said, that's what the point of this video is to show you how to land ILS mode. Look at that. Have faith in me, girl. We'll get down. We're going to switch to nav mode once we hit this next one, which is 4 minutes. Now you can switch to the nav mode two ways. You can either hit your CDI or you can hit your nav button up here. So for the sake of argument, we'll hit approach, CDI, and then approach. And actually I can see the runway. I can see the runway barely just out there. 2 miles. Let's slow it down a little bit. And we're going to switch over to nav mode and approach. There we go. So as you can see, it's showing me that I'm a little bit high here, but I am on course. I am on course. Alright. Gonna hand fly it at about 2 seconds. Runway in sight. You should see this line will actually start dropping. I am on approach mode, and you'll see this line start coming down. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We're going to be landing in about 2 minutes. Make sure my altitude is off. There we go. You'll see the line start dropping a little bit. I'm picking up the glide slope. Alright, let's get down to about 80 knots. We'll put down our first degree of flaps. We want to hold that line. We want to hold this line right here. That's what we want to hold. Still on approach mode. Alright. Little trim, little trim. I want to get that nose up because I'm dropping too much. Still on course. First degree of flaps. Here we go. Runway in sight. A little bit of trim. and bounce around. I have the glide slope, more flaps, full flaps. I want to keep that, I want to keep those, I want to make it like a crosshair, like a sniper rifle. I got the glide slope, a little bit of power, a little bit of power. Hold that line, a little bit of trim. I want to aim for those pianos. Show I'm a little bit high. I'm a little high, so I can drop the power down a little bit. Here's the inner marker. I have the glide slope. I see 2 red, 2 white. That means I'm on the glide slope. And I want to aim for those piano marks. I have the glide slope perfectly. Power down a little bit. Flare a little bit until the plane wants to stop flying. And touchdown, center line. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We are safely on the ground. I hope you enjoyed the flight. And that, ooh, my joystick's a little messed up. A little bit of brake, a little bit of brake, a little bit of brake. Alright, and we're going to exit the runway. But that is how you fly an ILS. It can be challenging, but it is a lot of fun if you do it right. Now, I'm not instrument rated. I wasn't instrument rated with my instructor or anything like that, but I want to go back to flying when this whole COVID thing is over and go for my license. So I just take what I've learned when I was flying with my instructor and applying it to here. That was a little bit longer video because, like I said, I picked the HUO VOR. I could have cut it shorter, but you know what? What the hell? Anytime you get to fly, it's a good thing. Alright, so let's bring up my girlfriend. There we go. We want ground. We want parking.
Stewart ground, Cessna November 122 Sierra. Zulu request taxi to parking.
Cessna November 122 Sierra Zulu taxi to general aviation parking via taxiway Alpha 6 Alpha Charlie.
Alpha 6 Alpha Charlie.
Taxiing to general aviation parking via taxiway Alpha 6 Alpha Charlie.
And since I kind of cheat, I usually use the ribbon. But you know what? If I don't have the map of the airport in front of me, I just use the taxi ribbon. What the hell? It's a simulator. But yes, that's flying ILS in bad weather. Truthfully, I think everybody should be instrument rated if they want to fly, because you could be flying in VFR 1 minute and the next thing you know you can end up in IFR, and then if you're not instrument rated, you can be in a world of trouble. Da-da-da. This is Stewart International Airport. This base was used as a SAC base, I guess, years ago, and also this airport was used as an auxiliary for the space shuttle landing because the runway was so long, I think. That's what somebody told me, so I don't know. I don't know if that's true, but... Looks like a nice airport, though. I don't know when my stall thing is coming on. I'm not in the air. All right, they see us where they want us to park. Where do they? They want us to park next to that TB90, that TBM. But I think they've done an incredible job with the flight sim, because now you can actually do true VFR flying. Alright, dude. What are you gonna do? You gonna stand there, or are you gonna become... You wanna eat... You wanna eat the propeller? He wants to eat the propeller. Come on, man. Go take your coffee break. Alright. I'm just going to pretend that dude's not there. Chop, 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 chop. Alright, this guy's telling me to come left. Here we go. Come forward. And engine shutdown. Stewart Airport. Okay. Lights off, so I'm not blinding the crew. Pitted heat off. Strobe, nav, taxi, landing. Avionics lights off. And all you gotta do is, if you want to kill the motor, boom, there you go. So, oh, that was a, what was that? How long was that flight? 38 minutes. Wow. All right. But that's how you do a ILS approach. So I hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time. Back to main menu. Continue.